I want to walk back to the beginning when, Bob called you about this job,
Hmm.
to work for this person. And you said, let me do formalities. Let me just go and see what's going on. Talk about hearing about the job and then being shocked that they wanted you for the job.
Well, it started with a typical phone call, which was from Bob O'Brien at the US Embassy. And I used to work for many of the embassies for that purpose, looking after their executives, their corporate 500 people who would travel to the United Kingdom, travel through Europe, and go back to America. So I used to look after them. There's a different level of terrorism and threat in those days. And then I had the usual phone call. Hi, David, I've got another one for you. I said, okay, who's this? He said, Whitney Houston. I said, who's he? Thinking that, Americans, they have some strange names. So he said, no, it's a female. I said, oh, what corporation does she represent? Still thinking Fortune 500. He said, David, have you lived under a rock? This is a pop star. So, oh, Bob, please. No. I don't do sex, drugs, rock and roll. No, this is not for me. No, it's too late, he said. You've got an interview with a former head of FBI station in New York, Mr. Wallace LaPrade. Please attend the interview. So I attended the interview, and Mr. LaPrade asked me, he said, look, I want snipers. I said, first pop star? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. No. Well, I want bomb dogs. I said, there's no level of threat. That's not going to happen either. He said, well, listen, how much will you charge me for using your services whilst we're in the United Kingdom? Arguably more than anybody else you will interview today, sir. But thank you for the opportunity of appearing before you, and I wish you well. I left thinking I'd fulfilled my obligation, carried on with my other duties, looking after other principals, and then 2 weeks later, I got the phone call from Mr. O'Brien. He said, you got the job. Now what do I do? But in the interim, once I'd finished that conversation and before meeting Mr. LaPrade, in fairness, I'd phoned up my daughter and said to her, she's a teenager. I said, who is Whitney Houston? She said, oh, Dad, I want to dance with somebody. I said, dance later. Who is this lady? He said, that's her number one record. I said, really? Oh. So I left my office. I went to the store, the other side of town, bought 2 CDs. She only had 2 albums out at that time. I went back to my office, stuck them on the machine, and I thought, oh my good God, this lady can sing. This is not what I was expecting in the rock and roll stereotypical scenario that I built up in my own mind. So I was more or less not too upset with the fact that I wasn't going to go out with partying and drugs and this nonsense and that nonsense and lawyers and police officers, all the things that come with it.